We'll gather around, feel the love come down. Blue elephant is strong, together we belong. In every comment right.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So Craftor recently reached out to me and asked me if I would be interested in trying their new Taba squishy kit. I said, of course, I would love to. So this is just, I want to show you all of the information that's on the outside of the box. And then we're going to go and see what is on the inside of the box. Now, I have not ever used any of the Taba squishy. I have used in the past Resin's Flex Rubber kit when it first came out. This, if I'm not mistaken, is completely different, but we're going to find out. So let's talk about what comes in this box. Now, first things first, this is a mold that you can use, and it's just one of those little chubby hamster molds that is like always super cute. You get part A and part B of your silicone. You get a couple of the nice big plastic mixing cups. You get 5 different. Now these are they're kind of, they're a pigment paste, right? But it's, I guess, specifically for the silicone. You also get the little mixing cups. You get a couple stir sticks, some gloves, very detailed instructions. You get a second mold, which I wasn't sure at this point what this mold was, other than some type of an animal laying down. I guess we're just gonna we're gonna try it and see. But let's take a look at these instructions first. So it tells you the precautions on what to do, what not to do. Now, this is measurable 1-to-1 by weight or by volume. So you can do it either way, which is kind of nice not having to, use the scales. And it just goes through. Now, it doesn't say that you need any kind of like a Vaseline or a mold release or anything like that. So I'm not going to use it. The one thing that it didn't tell you was what these were, and I didn't know at first, and I had to look. It does tell you very, very tiny print that it is a pigment, because I wasn't sure if it was going to be like a very small amount of flocking powder, if it was like a mica or whatever, but it is a pigment paste, and you get 5 different colors. You get pink, yellow, green, blue, and white. So we are going to play around with this today, and we're going to see what's up with it. So, first things first, we're going to use the 2 molds that they gave us. Now, I don't know, because like I said, I'm not versed in the Taba squishy stuff, if you can use other molds or not. I had spoken to Let's Resin in the past in regards to the flex rubber, and I was told that for that you only use, I guess, like this specific molds, and that they give a list of it. I don't know if this is any different, so I'm not going to tell you to go out and use your own molds for it and potentially ruin them, or it just not turn out right. So I recommend using either the molds that come with the kit or this special ones that you can buy that are specifically for this type of product, because obviously they're made so that, I mean, we know that silicone and silicone, sometimes it sticks depending on what the silicone is. So I don't know. So I wasn't sure how much exactly it was going to take for these 2 molds. I figured the little chubby hamster dude is probably about 2 ounces, and the other one is probably close to the same. So I'm going to do up, I think it was 4 ounces that I made, and we're gonna go with it. Now I want to try all of the colors. I want to see how they mix up in the silicone. I want to see how it colors it, if it colors it nicely, how much you need, all of the things, and just how it works and how it looks when it is done. Now I'm sure you're like, but you have 2 projects, what are you going to do with all these colors? You'll see. You'll see. So I divided up my silicone into 4 little cups, and then I'm leaving the majority of it in the big one. The big one, we're going to go white. The rest of them, we're just going to take a tiny bit. I'm going to treat this as you would if you were using a pigment paste for resin, and just put a little bit of it on my stick and mix it up really, really well, because I'm assuming the same thing could happen with unmixed pigment, right? Like it's not gonna cure properly. It's going to most likely sink or whatever, and then you're gonna have an area in your squishy, just like you would in your resin, where you have pigment paste that's just clumped up and whatever. And then I'm also going to assume that it is very pigmented, just like a resin pigment paste would be. So I'm just using a little bit, and honestly, that's all it really took. I did go in before I used each one of them and I mixed them around just to make sure that whatever they are mixed with is thoroughly mixed up, and that I don't have any, separation from it sitting around for a while. That can sometimes happen with your different pigment pastes. So I am doing that. Now, first off, I don't use a lot of pastel colors, and if you've been watching me for any length of time, you'll know this. But I have to say that the colors that they picked really are very pretty colors. I do like them a lot. So I am really, really excited to try them out and see what's going to happen when we use these and mix them all together. I've made molds in the past. I'm not one to really color my molds when I make them. I honestly prefer just your typical clear or white, mold. That's just a me thing. I don't need to, so I'm not super crazy sure how pigment paste and stuff like that works in silicone, but we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. Now the white, same thing. Now I am obviously going to use a little bit more because I do have the majority of the silicone is white, and we're just gonna mix that up really, really well, and we're gonna go with it. Now, I do have to say that the one complaint that I have with this kit is the hamster mold. And I already informed Bond Crafter that the mold itself is cute. Like, don't get me wrong, he is super cute. Like, I love his chubby little cheeks. I am actually sitting here playing with him now. It doesn't, the mold, it's not very stable. And you'll see here in a moment where it's actually going to tip over on me, and I do, as it cures, I do have it propped up on all four sides to make sure that it doesn't, you know, fall over again, and I don't have silicone all over the place. So that is my one complaint with the mold, is that this one is not sturdy at all. Like, it has a little cross on the bottom, just right on his head. See, there it goes. Where that's like all there is to hold this thing and make it stable, which is just it's not good as far as that goes. Now, if you don't have an issue with propping it up, or if you have other molds, great. This mold, however, I wasn't sure what it was. Like, I had no idea. And this is my favorite mold. Like, it is so freaking cute. And you'll see here when we go to demold. Now, as far as coloring it, you can see I'm just taking my white and then taking my color, and I'm kind of drizzling it over the white as I pour it in. And we're just going to see what kind of effect that we get. And then I ran out of white, so I'm just going to finish filling this mold up by dumping in some color on the back and then giving it a little mix, nothing crazy, just a little swoosh in there, and clean up the edges, and then that's it. We're gonna let this cure. Now, I do have some left over, and I don't want to waste it. I don't have any molds that are specifically for the Taba squishies. So we're gonna try, that little turtle mold that I have that's really, really cute. We're gonna try that and see how it works, and I hope to God that it works okay, because it's the only one I have, and I want to say I purchased it from Temu, and I'm no longer ordering anything from Temu because I'm just not paying the prices. It was one thing when I can get stuff super cheap, but now I can't. So I'm not ordering from them anymore. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this works and if it can work on just any molds or if it's just specifically ones that are for the squishies. Okay, so this is the next day. Now, for me, it didn't cure in 2 hours. I don't know how long it took, but I know I checked it around the time that I was making dinner, which was about 2 hours later, and it was still not not fully set. So it could be because my house is pretty cold. We keep it down the AC down really really low, and in the area where my stuff cures at, I have an AC vent right there, so it stays pretty cold in that corner of the house. So that could very well be why. Now, this mold, as much as I don't like the stability of it, it did come out super super easy. It's very thin, very flexible, very 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 easy to demold. And I will say that I am pleasantly surprised. I was expecting it to be like the flex rubber, which is really sticky and you couldn't like peel it off of yourself. You know what I mean? This has no stick to it whatsoever. It is really, really nice to feel. This is something that you don't need flocking pattern for. In fact, I don't know that the flock would stick to it at all because it's just like I mean it's like holding a mold, right? Now, that being said, my turtle did not come out good. Now, he came out of the mold just fine. It didn't ruin my mold, thank God. But he is super sticky. So I don't know if it was the type of mold, the type of silicone that was used to make that mold, and it just doesn't mesh well with the silicone that you're using for these Taba squishies, or what the case is. But it did stay really, really sticky to the point where I ended up just trashing it because there was no point. So I would say stick with what they either provide for you in the kit or other molds that you can get that are specifically for this type of silicone. Okay, let's go to demolding this one. Now, this happens to be a little bear laying down, and he is so freaking cute. Oh my gosh. I did have one area on the foot where I don't know if I had overpoured or if I just wasn't paying attention, and I ripped a little piece of his foot, but it's fine. He's fine. It's just, I think what it was is I had some overhanging, and when I went to do it, it just kind of cut a little bit of it. It's nothing horrible. Look how cute he is, though. And I really love the almost like tie-dyed effect that him in particular that he has. I love the feel. The mold itself it's got like a texture to it, so it feels totally different than the hamster. Like the hamster is super smooth, right? This little bear guy, he's got some texture to him and I really like it. It almost feels like he's got fur, kind of sort of. Anyway, he's super super cute and I really really like him a lot. I love squishing his little butt in his head. But yeah, so super cute. So I decided that I was gonna see, because I've seen it done in the past, if it would take some mica powder on it just to kind of go along with the facial details and just see. So I took some of my Let's Resin micas, one in black, one in pink, just to kind of go along the cheeks for the little chubby dude and his eyes and his nose and his mouth. Now, the pink I did okay on. Like that looks okay. When I started doing the black, it went everywhere, and I mean, I got most of it off and then I kind of gave up, honestly. But I will say that as I am sitting here, and this is probably a good 3, 4 days later, I have them both sitting at my desk. So every time I'm on my computer, I find myself messing with them. That the mica powder is still pretty much on. Like I've even tried to wipe it off, and it's staying on, like it's not getting on my hands. Now, granted, I didn't go crazy overboard and put like a whole lot on, but enough that it colored it. Like his cheeks are still pink. One of his eyes is rubbed off, but that could be that I like rubbed it off. I don't know. But his other eye is still on there. As far as the little bear, which I have played with him much more, it is on, like completely on still. It hasn't come off at all. So the mica powder stays on fairly good. I did use alcohol and a Q-tip to clean up my mess. Well, most of my mess. But look how cute. Super cute. I like him a lot. I find myself playing with him, which I kind of really didn't think that I would. It's not left any kind of like an oily, you know how sometimes with these kits you can feel they have like that oily feel to them, or they secrete oils coming from the silicone. It doesn't have that at all coming out. It's just very tactile, makes you want to touch it, makes you want to squish it. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm super happy with it. Like I said, the only complaint that I have is the one mold and the ability to really stand on its own securely without having to prop it up. But other than that, the mold's cute. Little Bear is super cute. Absolutely love the colors. Just, I love the feel. I think it's a great kit. I think that this would be a lot of fun to do with young kids, your grandkids, obviously with supervision, but I think that they would have a lot of fun making it, and then something that they could play with afterwards. I think it would be a really cool time. But anyway, I will link everything down in the description box below for you. There is a discount code that you can use to save 20% off your purchase. And that is pretty much a wrap on this one, guys. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I will catch you on Thursday in the next one. Love ya. Bye.
Together we belong. In every comment, right? You lift me to new heights. Your support, it's clear, gives me reason to cheer.